Hello and welcome. My name is Thomas, and in this video I'm going to give you a sneak peek update to a new WordPress theme I'm creating by the name of NotablePress. Okay, so a few weeks back I shared with you a new concept for a WordPress theme that I was in the process of building. And I had the opportunity as well to share a little bit of the thoughts and the ideas that were behind the creation of this WordPress theme. So what I wanted to do today was actually give you a little bit of an update and something I'm just really excited about, and so I would like to share it with you guys. But it's actually a setup helper. So long story short, one of the biggest challenges with not only WordPress themes that I've created, but also with WordPress themes in general, is the learning curve. It takes quite a bit of work customizing, changing fonts, and going through the process of getting everything just so that the site is ready to accept content. So that got me thinking, what can I do as a designer and as a developer to make that process as smooth and as easy as possible? So what I decided to do was to create exactly what I mentioned, which is a helper. It's just something, it's kind of like a wizard or an installer, as you've seen if you work on Windows, and they've got something similar on Mac that just kind of walks you through step by step each of the settings that you need to get the site up and running successfully. Then at the end of the installer process, it just sets up the site for you. It configures it with a base layout for the front page, and with some base memberships and base options, so that rather than trying to piece things together or copy the demo from scratch, instead you've got a spot that you start from that then you can start to edit and modify. So you can just kind of use the settings as the helper sets them up for you, or you can go through and tweak them and add to them or take them away. Okay, so with that, let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the process of setting up the new theme. Okay, so what we're looking at here is just a blank install of WordPress, and if you're familiar with WordPress at all, I'm sure seen this welcome to WordPress section before. I typically just kind of dismiss that because I see WordPress every single day, so I'm pretty familiar with it, but that can kind of help with the basics of WordPress if you would like to go through it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go up to Appearance, and let's actually go ahead and add in here my nice presentation assistant. All this does is it lets me kind of highlight the screen. Okay, so let's go ahead and scroll on down here to NotablePress, and we're just going to go ahead and click Activate. Now this is the setup sequence that I was referring to earlier, the helper, so to speak, that just kind of walks users through step by step, getting all of the elements up and running. So we're just going to click Let's Go. We're just going to keep the name NotablePress. And then what we've got here is two different options, because as I mentioned in my original video, that this theme will have a light mode and a dark mode. So if you want, you can actually specify two different types of logos. Okay, so I actually just have some files here I've been using for the sake of testing. So let's go ahead and just grab that logo. And I'm going to use the same logo for the dark mode as I did for the light mode. Tagline, I'm just going to go ahead and leave that the same. The tagline is actually just the section that shows up at the top of the browser. So it's going to show in the title of the tab bar, and it's also going to show up in search results as well. Headline is going to be what shows up at the top in the hero area of the website. So we can typically do like the mission statement or what is in it for the user or site visitor. So in this case, it's just going to be create a better brand on the web. And for this spot, I'm just going to go ahead and fill it with some placeholder text. We do want people to be able to create an account on our site. This would typically be a photo of you. However, in this case, I'm just going to use kind of this funny cat picture, and then we're going to click Next Step. After that, we're going to pick a primary color. So we're just going to pick what is that color that we want to accent our site. Now, if you've already got brand colors, you could do that. You could just pick one of these presets, or you could kind of use this slider to pick your own. Then we want to go ahead and click dark mode. I want that to be active by default. And then we're going to go through as well. We're just going to go ahead and click a typeface link here, which actually just takes us over to Google Fonts. What I typically do is I just kind of remove all of them except for display. So this is going to be our headline font. These typically work pretty well for headlines, all these different display fonts. We're just going to copy the title, paste it in there, and then we're going to just leave this font for the body typeface. That works pretty well. One of the questions you might have is, well, I'm making a lot of stylistic changes right now to the site. Wouldn't I want to see that live? And the good news is that this is just to get you started. So after you go through the process of filling this out, you would then be able to go in and change these in the WordPress customizer as you would at with any other theme. The benefit here is that this gives you a starting point. You're actually going to be looking at a website that looks somewhat finished to start with. So rather than trying to build something from scratch, this just makes it a little bit easier. Okay, then for the background image, typically you just want to pick a nice photo. I just grabbed this one for free off of Pexels, so we'll stick that in there. Rounded corners, I'm going to leave that at 3. Those are just going to be how round the corners are in buttons and boxes and stuff like that. I typically recommend leaving that default if you don't know. If you want squared buttons and boxes, you could do 0 all the way up to 10 if you want it to be super round. Just going to leave that at 3. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to type in some external links. And all these are going to be now most traditionally, these are going to be your social media links. There's going to be links to Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and that sort of thing, but you don't have to. I left these kind of flexible so that you could really put links to anything that you want. Essentially what you're providing is a link and then an icon. So we're going to click on this little link that's provided. Then we're just going to, you could search through literally 7,865 fonts. We're just going to look for Twitter. We're going to grab that. Copy the nice little link code, paste it in there, and there we go. We're going to do the same for Facebook. But again, you don't have to use social media links here if you don't want to. The idea here is essentially these are links these are going to show up across the site. In the bottom, it's also going to show up on your about page, that sort of thing. So if there are specific links, like maybe you got a Shopify site, or maybe you've got a course that you've created over on Teachable or something like that, the whole idea is that you would be able to add those in here with whatever link you want. You're not limited to the normal Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram type links. Okay, we'll do YouTube. There we go. That works for that step. Now we're going to pop on over to the next step. And this is where you would paste in a license key. Now the cool thing is that there will also be a free version of this theme as well, so that if you don't paste in a license key, you'll still be able to use some of the features of the theme. I'm gonna go ahead and grab that license key real quick. Okay, so I went ahead and entered in that license key, and now what it's got me some options for are my integrations with YouTube and as well as Twitch. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and start the process of grabbing these license keys. I can't really show these on stream, or I should say API keys, not license keys, because they're going to be specific to my account. However, what I will be doing in the future is creating a video that actually shows you how to create API keys for YouTube as well as for Twitch. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and grab those, paste those in here, and then jump to the next step. Okay, so I entered in my API keys for YouTube. Now I'm going to go ahead and enter in an API key to connect it to the email marketing service that we typically recommend, which is ConvertKit, as well as to Stripe. Now again, I'm not going to show these API keys for security reasons. However, the short story is essentially these are going to connect your ConvertKit account as well as your Stripe account. ConvertKit is going to be able to collect email addresses, so as people sign up and register for your site, they'll get added to your ConvertKit email list. And then Stripe is going to enable you to accept payments and do checkout for people who want to subscribe to your site and create a paying membership. Okay, so I went ahead and I entered in those API keys. So those accounts are now all connected. And next what I would be able to do is select, I've got a whole bunch of tags in my ConvertKit account. So I get to say, if somebody creates an account or signs up for a membership on my site, what tag do I want to apply to that person on my in my ConvertKit account? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and call them ARD subscriber. I'm just going to go ahead and use that tag and then click next. Now the next thing I've got in here, again, this is just kind of meant to help people along the process of getting their site up and running quickly, is some of the plugins that I recommend to get the site to work well. And one of those, which I've talked at length about in the past, is the classic editor. So all that has to happen is you just click that link. It's already installed, but you would click install in the bottom right hand corner, and the same goes for all of these. These are a little bit more like Yoast SEO and PowerPress. These are not required, just kind of helpful. Yoast SEO just helps you kind of customize your site in terms of how it shows up to search engines, helps you do keyword ranking and things like that. And then of course, if you wanted to run a podcast, PowerPress podcasting is probably the best free option that I've ever seen. Now that we've done that, we're just going to click next step, and it's going to take us to this finish screen. We've gone through all of those steps, and as you can see, that just took a few minutes, and then we're going to click finish. There we go. And you see it has essentially set up the core of the site for us. Even though we don't have any content or anything yet, it's added our headline, our subheading, it's created our calls to action. If we click this, you'll see that it's set up a membership pricing page for us automatically with a free account. So if I were to take this link, open it in an incognito window, meaning I'm not signed up or not logged in, and somebody clicked sign up for free, you'll see that it's going to take them to a place where they can sign up for free. And all this is customizable. This is all connected to Stripe, so that if somebody enters their first name, email address, and creates an account, they've just been added to your ConvertKit account. If they click learn more, it takes them to a page that's been generated automatically about you. It's gonna have your picture, those social media links or external links that we already added. Then this will be ready to edit, so you can just go right in there and start editing that text right away. The other thing that it's done as well is it's gone in and actually created the navigation. So it's got a nice home link. It links to your latest content. And again, these are just some sample posts that it created by default as a part of the setup process. These are each just to kind of give you a little bit of an idea of how these are individually supposed to be set up. But again, you can go over to you can take a look at, if we go to back to the latest, you can see kind of what an audio post looks like. It's got in there a nice little player, so you can kind of see that in action. There's a video post as well, so that you can kind of see how video works. So if somebody clicks play, you can start seeing that video play automatically. It's got all those pieces kind of built in. And then again, it's also got the tools section built as well, so you can kind of see how that looks. So that's going to be your affiliate links, so to your recommended products or services. If you're like me, you like to promote ConvertKit, you could put ConvertKit in there. If there's something you bought on Amazon that you use every day, put your Amazon affiliate link in there. And you can also upload, of course, thumbnails to go along with those. Beyond that, it's also automatically set up an account area. So, or also, before we get to the account area, you'll see it's got this nice call to action setup as well, which is going to take you to this membership site. And then once somebody has created an account, you'll see that it's automatically set them up an account area. It tells them how to change their avatar, first name, last name, email address, update password, a display name. So when they're leaving comments in the comment section, they'll be able to change how that shows up in your community. It also sets it up default so that nobody can comment. You can always change this, but nobody can comment on your site unless they register. So it gives people an incentive to sign up for an account on your site, which then of course helps grow your email list. So we could say, hello, how are you today? Post a comment, and then you'll see that it has my name and information there. The other thing I've worked in here as well is you can actually upvote comments, and if you want, you can even upvote your own comments so people can actually see which comments are the most popular. You can go in there and you can actually update your bio. Scroll on down, and then there we go. We've got my bio and information there. Jumping back to the front end, one of the other things you'll notice is that it's also gone in and it's configured this featured area. So it's going to show your latest post here, and then the other posts that are trending. So your top 4 most trending posts. It's going to show all of the latest right here. It's automatically set up a call to action for you. Again, you can go in and edit these very easily, but it's just kind of got the basics set up for you. And then of course the option for the user individually to decide whether they want to use the light mode or the dark mode. So as you can see, it just kind of goes back and forth based upon what their preferences are. So if you give that a little refresh, you'll see then that it's going to go ahead and keep that by default. So really simple, really easy to use. both for you and for the user. But the whole idea here is that you didn't have to go in and configure all this. It was configured automatically. Now all you have to do is jump into the customizer, for example, go into widgets, front page widgets, and then you can start rearranging these. You can add new ones. So if you wanted to add a new one in here, you could, or just leave it as is. Or let's say, you know what, I don't want this to be the latest. I only want this to be the latest videos. So we'll go ahead and click publish, and then you'll see it is only the latest videos. Now the other thing that's really cool about this as well is that let's go ahead and click on theme settings, and this is the featured section right here, which is actually right now showing the latest and then the trending off to the side. So the part I'm referring to right now, if we scroll on down, is going to be the this featured section right here. But the cool thing is, because I kind of hid it from the screen for obvious reasons, but because I entered in my YouTube API information, next time I go live on YouTube, and this was set up automatically, I didn't change any of this. The next time I go live on YouTube, in place of this, it's actually going to show the live video player with the chat to the right. And that's automatically set up as a result of entering in that API information. Now, beyond just being a WordPress theme, one of the reasons I actually was really excited to create this is because I see so many creators out there building their platforms on what I like to call a rented lot. So you see people who are building massive followings on things like TikTok or on Instagram or even on YouTube, and then relying upon that solely as a method or a means for income. Now don't get me wrong, it's great, you can work from home, all of that works great. But at the end of the day, those companies, those corporations own and control your content. At any point in time, they can decide to shut down that creator for any reason. Now, the big idea with something like NotablePress is that you can integrate with YouTube or Twitch or any of these other third parties, but the idea is that it's a platform that you own and that you control, and it's a place that you can actually grow a community that people interact with, that people can see the latest content, that people can pay for a subscription, and it's something that you own and control. Now, one last thing just before we go here, I forgot to show you, which is actually incredibly important, is the membership functionality in terms of the checkout process. Now, one of the things that I put in there earlier was that it has a Stripe integration. Stripe is a payment gateway processor that has their own third-party payment processing, checkout forms and everything like that. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at what it would look like to actually purchase a membership. We'll go back to Start Now, and then we'll click Edit this page. Now we'll see here it gives us some different page options that show up here in the bottom. We're not going to edit any of the actual packages. We'll leave those the same. But let's say here, all we have to do is we can select from a drop down. These are products that I've already created in Stripe. So membership products that somebody can go in and purchase. So we're just going to say this is Club Notable the monthly. And then we've got Club Notable the yearly. Go ahead and click Update. And now that I've assigned actual Stripe products to each of these individual packages, someone can just click Buy Now, and it takes them directly to Stripe. This is already a test mode, but somebody would be able to go through here, purchase a subscription, and then they would be subscribed for $19 a month. The great thing here is that Stripe handles storing any of the payment information, the payment processing, all of the security. This is all done on Stripe's servers, so you don't have to worry about any of it. It's all handled by Stripe, and then you pay a small fee every time there's a price, every time there is a purchase made. So it's a great solution. You own and control the platform and still have a method for people to be able to pay you. That's super simple, not only for you to set up, but for your customers as well. So that's it. As always, I just like to kind of share a little bit of what I'm working on. I do like to do tutorials and things like that as well, but it's always just kind of fun to give you a behind the scenes look of something that I am personally creating. If you are somebody who would be interested in using Notable Platform, it is coming out soon in a beta form, followed by its full release. If you're interested, I will leave a link below where you can check that out. As always, if you found this video useful, hit that like button, subscribe if you're not already, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Hey, so I get asked all the time how I make my videos, so I decided to put together for you a free 1-hour training, which I am calling the 7 Pillars of Effective Video. Again, this is totally free, so click the box in the top right-hand corner of this video. You can also head on over to rightly.tv/training. Again, this is totally free. Head on over to rightly.tv/training.